that by holding taxation down to 5%, an economy is hindered?
The question is, do you have any data that by holding an economy's taxation down to 5%, the economy is hindered? That's one of these questions like, when did you last beat your wife? Do you have any evidence that by keeping it at 5%, an economy is helped? The fact of the matter is that we have almost no evidence on that. We do have evidence, however, that the level of taxation and the rate of economic growth are inversely related in general. No question about that. I said earlier that we are much richer than we were 100 years ago. We are also less free. However, I would go on to say that if 100 years ago we had had the range of government restrictions that we now have, we would now be poorer than they were. So I'm not questioning the fact that it's not tax. Again, let's be clear. You must not fall into the trap of thinking the problem is taxation. The problem is government spending, because what government spends is all taxation. Where does it come from? It doesn't matter whether they call the tax an income tax, whether they call it a sales tax, whether they call it a deficit. It's taxation. So that high levels of government spending have been associated. There is a study by, as it happens, a former student of mine at the World Bank, who has done a comparison among various countries on the level of taxation on the one hand and the rate of growth on the other. And there is no doubt, the higher the rate of taxation, the level of taxation, the lower in general has been the rate of growth. You see, it's a complicated problem to investigate, because the higher the rate of growth, the higher the subsequent rate of taxation. You have a country that does very well, that provides a pot which you can pay. And so therefore you have a high rate of taxation. So that you have to be very careful in analyzing the data not to let post hoc ergo hoc dominate it. Yes?
Would you care to comment on how would be the best way to come up with the money we